Ladies and gentlemen, it is a beautiful morning out here at Motor Coach Country Club in Indio, California, and we just found the new 2026 Newell show coach, and we're hanging out with one of the most knowledgeable people in the motor coach industry. Phil Cornelius, how you doing today, sir?
Great, Andrew. Good to see you as always.
Yeah, likewise. I always like hanging out with you because we're seeing the latest and the greatest. And I heard you guys did some new improvements on this 2026?
Yes, for our 2026 models, we've got a few improvements and enhancements that we'll talk about today, so looking forward to it.
Here at Motor Coach Country Club, we're seeing a lot of Newell coaches here. How many Newell coach owners are here at Motor Coach Country Club?
Well, I haven't counted lately, but between here and a couple of the other resorts in the area, you're probably looking at 90 or so Newell coaches. A lot of them late model Newell coaches. We have a lot of people migrating out of the Class A market, coming over from bus conversion products. You see more Newells here than any other coach in our class.
Yes, sir, and there's some really nice coaches around the resort, a lot of late model stuff. Now, you've been in the industry for a long time now and have a wealth of wisdom, so I always enjoy spending time with you, but what are some of the key reasons that folks out here are moving to the Newell Coach product?
Well, we have an opportunity when we're here as a sponsor of events, as a member of the community. We have a chance to let people actually see our product rather than listening to others talk about our product. And so they're able to come in, see the product, see how it feels, test drive it. They're able to sit down with me and talk about the order process. It's an opportunity for people to actually one-on-one see the product.
And I think you've got such an amazing product, just sells itself. But I've been noticing this paint job is really popping on this 2026.
Oh, yeah.
And I also noticed you've got the vinyl over the windows here. Is that something new?
No, that's something that is offered by Ryan, who handles the design of our paint schemes. And we went ahead and had him put that on just to feature it. Some customers like that. Some customers have a different paint scheme that it's not as critical. So we went ahead and did it on this coach.
Yes, sir. And this red has a heavy metallic in it that's just really popping right now in the sunlight. Yeah. And then there's also a heavy metallic in the black and grays with a pattern kind of ghosted in here. A really cool paint job.
Got a lot of drop shadows, good contrast with the coach. It's all over the body.
Yes, so I'm really looking forward to taking the folks on a tour of this coach. So what are some of the new features that we're seeing for 2026 on the exterior?
Well, we've got a new generator, Durawatt generator. They're very active in the industrial, military, commercial application. We've got two new 5,000 watt inverters that will be on the 26 models and newer.
And I heard that Newell's starting to offer a lithium battery package as well?
Yeah, we've got the lithium battery. In fact, this one has the lithium battery package. We've got the Dragonfly lithium batteries on this particular unit. The availability of the lithium batteries has gotten a lot better. At one time, you could only get it through, one source, and then if a battery went bad, you had to send the battery back, and that's not the case anymore. We're very comfortable with offering the lithium package. Some customers prefer to stay with the AGMs. They're going from pole to pole. They're not doing a lot of dry camping. We're going to see more lithium packages, I think, over the next couple of years. And they go in the same place that the AGMs go. These can be pulled out just by loosening the bolt and pulling out the track. Then you can access the batteries. We've also got quick connects here, and then we've got the on-off switch for the house. Batteries easily accessible here.
Yes, sir. That's right next to your fuel tank that you can fill on both sides.
Right.
How big is the fuel tank?
It's 200 gallons. And 21 gallons on the depth. You've got a long range before you have to fill up. On the outside of this door, we've got the camera so that you can line up to the fuel pump on both sides. And this bay is your TV bay as well as your water bay. What we've done with the TV is the same thing we've done on the slide-out trays in the storage compartments. We've got a button on the door itself that allows us to pull the TV out. We've got a sound bar on the side.
Before, was that above or was that always attached to the TV?
That was above, and now we've got it attached to the TV, so you're going to have that sound projecting wherever the TV is pointed. You've also got it back here, so it's not right in the middle of your entertainment area. You've got it to where you can have your entertainment area for cooking, eating, hanging out without having to be in front of the TV.
But I know you're offering the projector that actually projects on the outside of the coach.
Sure.
Does this show coach have that feature?
This has it in the bedroom, but because of the vinyl covering on the window, it wouldn't be functional for that purpose. But we do offer it. Most people use it whenever it's in the salon area. At night, you can turn your window into a TV screen by reversing the image and having the projector project the image through the screen on the inside. Back behind the TV, you have access to the Aqua Hot. This is a 675, not the smaller one that you might see in the Class A market, but it's the larger one, more industrial parts, better capacity. We've also got the water filters for the house here, and then you've got some controls here for some of the lighting controls. One thing I like to point out is the amount of space that you have in the Newell to work on things, because we build, again, from the ground up. I can't stress enough, building your product from the ground up to be a motor coach for the end user brings countless benefits. We're into service, and we want to make it very serviceable.
And what are your holding tank capacities on this coach?
Standard is 142 gallons for the fresh water and the wastewater. We combine the wastewater, and that way you don't have two separate tanks to where you fill up your gray water and you have hardly any black water, so you don't take advantage of the full capacity. Here, it all goes into one tank. It's a much easier, more sanitary clean out. We also offer the washout on the tank. Not everybody uses it because whenever you combine the tank, everything flushes out much quicker.
It helps keep your tanks clean.
Oh yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
And are there options to get bigger holding tanks if folks want to dry camp?
You can get the 180 gallon tank. What we're going to end up doing is taking the Aqua Hot and putting it on the other side and taking up some of your second storage bay. You'll lose some storage if you go that route, and that's why most of the time we're going to see people with the 142 gallon, because that's plenty.
Yeah, 140 gallons is a lot.
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now this bay looks a little bit different than some of the coaches in the past. What's new?
Electrical bay has changed. A little different size box that comes out instead of on a roller. As I mentioned, we've got the two 5,000 watt inverters, the Victron inverters. Those are taking up a little bit more space, but we've also added some cooling. So you've got a fan that's back in the back here, and then you've got ventilation through here to increase the cooling so that the inverters don't thermal out.
Yes, sir. And then the N1 system. Newell Coach has been using the N1 system for a few years now?
Yeah, since mid-21. You've got the same configuration for all of your valid systems, valid leveling, valid slide controls, is all in this one area. That's the other thing I like to point out. A lot of products will have parts of their electrical system spread throughout the entire coach, like behind walls and behind furniture. Everything with ours, it's the latest technology, solid state. It's all in one place here for the house.
Yes,
And we're able to, instead of going down and having to pull fuses if one blows, we've got resettable breakers that are resettable from the screen on the inside as well as here.
Definitely see improvement. Now, in the past, we could roll out this bay.
Right.
So kind of a little bit of give and take. Is there a reason that we don't have a slide tray here?
Well, because you need the ventilation down below.
Okay.
Here, you can still pull this out. You just don't have quite as much space for a large toolbox like you did in the other one. Another thing I wanted to mention about those inverters, in addition to giving us more inverted circuits, instead of the mechanical transfer switch for switching from generator to shore power or back and forth, it's all handled within the inverters electronically.
Okay, so a big step up there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And that does that automatically?
Yes,
Nice.
yeah. It'll automatically sense it, make the change. Just like the other door, we have a switch that allows you to control the slide out tray without having to reach down and get into it or even reach for the remote. We do have a remote control where you can stand back and operate it, but this is really convenient.
And then of course, you know, that carbon fiber face and then the stainless strip here.
This whole unit will come out.
Okay.
So if somebody wanted to gain a little bit more width, they could have just the flat slide out tray.
Have Newell Coach bays always done that, or is
Yeah.
they have? Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a game changer, having that switch on the bay
Oh, it's
door there.
so easy to pull out.
When did Newell Coach start implementing?
That also was in the mid-22 models. This bay is the same way. We'll notice a couple of things in here. We provide paint touch-up. You can see the sprayer for the pressure washer that we have on board and a short hose so that you can just hook it up to the front. We'll be up in the front in a little bit. I'll show you where that connection is. Then we have a spare parts box. The other thing I'd like to point out, if you'll look at our bays, all the way through. We don't come after the fact and install these gussets to try to reinforce it to be able to handle the weight of a slide. We build the chassis from the ground up to be able to handle the stresses.
And you mentioned your competitors have a 55,500 pound gross vehicle weight. What's the gross vehicle weight rating of the Newell coaches?
63,300 pounds is the gross vehicle weight rating. We come off the line where we've got roughly 4,000 to 5,000 pounds to play with, whereas our competitors are coming off the line sometimes over the gross vehicle weight rating.
What is it about Newell coach where you're able to have that much more weight?
So there's a number of things that contribute to the gross vehicle weight rating that's allowed by DOT or whatever governing body is putting the limits on it. The axles, the brakes, the chassis itself, there's a number of things that go into that. There's some other very significant differences between the Newell product and your converted buses.
Well, and having that bigger gross vehicle weight rating, is there a reason that you don't have larger bays like some of your competitors? I know the bus conversions are going to have much larger bays than you.
That's just a styling preference that's driven by the market. Most people are very happy with the amount of storage that we have. There may be a rare occasion where somebody wants a taller bay, and that's all you're getting is taller bays with the other product, but then you're sacrificing interior height, interior storage. You'll notice when we go in the coach later this evening, you've got a flat floor all the way to the front. With the Newell product, you've got more floor space. The height of your slide room, you've shown where you can walk underneath a slide room without hitting your head. We're able to put in the flat floor slides throughout the entire coach where the other products have to have a step up. There's a number of advantages to the way we do it because, again, we're building for the end user, the motor coach enthusiast, not for a commercial bus application.
Would it be possible if someone wanted to custom order a Newell coach with taller bays, or is this chassis going to be what we see here?
Yeah, that would be a major design change and one that isn't really requested. So, again, we're market driven and we really don't hear people asking for that. A lot of times when you have a taller storage bay, all you're doing is stacking things on top of other things that you might otherwise put in the inside. It's just a matter of where you want to have the storage. And these two full bays and the partial bay that you have seems to be plenty for our clients.
Yes, sir. Now, I know you do have some flexibility in your size. I recently saw a 40-foot Newell coach.
Oh, yeah.
Very rare. But how often does Newell coach build coaches that are less than 45 feet, and how short of a coach can they build?
Well, 40 feet is the limit that we can go, and we can build anything in between. We've actually built some for overseas clients that don't have to abide by the regulations over here that are more than 45 feet. The 40-foot you mentioned was built back in 2014. The preference is the 45 feet because with our rear steerable tag and the maneuverability of the Newell, there's really no reason to go to a 40-foot unless you're just restricted by where you want to keep it or if there's some special application.
I'll tell you what, I was really impressed with the drivability, that shorter tag axle, probably the nicest driving motor coach I've ever driven, having that smaller footprint. And I even did a whole U-turn in a cul-de-sac.
Oh, yeah.
It was just incredible. But the big downside to the 40-foot Newell was there was barely any bay space.
You got to lose that 5 feet somewhere.
Yes,
and that's going to be in the storage.
But if someone does want a little hot rod 40-foot Newell with a Cummins 605, you can do it?
Absolutely. Again, building from the ground up, we can do just about anything.
And is there a cost difference? Is there any savings if someone built a shorter coach?
Not a whole lot, because your labor is still going to be the same. You're still going to run it through the same production process that you would with a 45. And you have to realize that the market is very narrow for people that want a 40-foot Newell, but I'm sure it will sell quickly because there is somebody out there looking for that piece.
Have you done, 41, 42 feet?
We have.
You still get some bays?
We've done 40, 41, 42, 43. Again, it's not often. I would say coaches that are not 45 feet, probably in the last 10 years, we've built maybe 5 of them.
Okay, yes, sir. But it is an option.
It is an option, yes, sir.
We were talking about that gross vehicle weight rating, and I see we've got the 365 tire up front here on your steer tire.
Right.
Do you know what the weight rating is of the front axle?
20,000 pounds on the front axle.
Yeah, heavy duty front axle. Then I know a lot of the Class A's have significantly less front axle weight ratings.
Right.
Coming around to the front of the coach, I love that you're putting the paint designs through the front of the coach with that ghosted image, heavy metallics, drop shadows, just a stunning front end here.
Oh yeah, we're able to do that. We did make a slight front end change mid-22. We've got the backlit Newell logo. It looks really cool at night. And then we are able to put more paint on the front end that way.
Yeah, and it's so cool the way when you follow it with the sun, like this gray metallic pattern you don't see from a certain angle, or you can barely see it. And then as you kind of shift around, it just really pops out at you.
Yeah, or as the light hits it from a different direction, it changes.
And I noticed that, you know, European style higher level mirrors, but can Newell Coach also do low mounted mirrors
We can.
as well?
We can do both, and we have done both. The preference still seems to be the higher mount mirrors. You reduce your blind spot a little bit. They're out of the way for guys that are tall. They're not going to be running into the mirror when they're walking around the coach. That still seems to be the preference. But we're open to doing either way.
Yeah, so a beautiful style front end here. And you mentioned there's a new generator?
There is. It's a Durawatt 20 kW diesel generator.
That's in a quiet box there?
It is. Durawatt builds for the military, industrial uses. Durawatt's a heavy duty generator. It's a 20 kW. It's got the reset breaker and the on off switch. We're able to turn it on and off from the Intrepid panel, as well as a manual switch inside. You can also operate it from your phone remotely. If you wanted to turn the generator on, if you're away from the coach, you could do that.
Okay, and is there a fire suppression system?
There is. There's a built-in fire suppression system. You can see that inside the small bay up there on the driver's side, and then another fire extinguisher right beside it.
And then I'm noticing the silver material lining the bay. Is that like a sound dampening material?
It is. There's a foam behind that as well that has like a mica composite, great sound deadening material. And I've noticed, I've had two coaches with the Durawatt, very quiet, extremely quiet. Also, it's a Tier 4 approved generator without having to have a regen mode on the generator.
So no DEF?
No particulate filter. Here you'll find the suppression system that we were talking about earlier, right in here beside the front air compressor. Then you have the fire extinguisher here on the door. You've also got two 110 volt air compressors. And with all the pneumatic systems on board, like your air door, your air pocket doors, your leveling system, it's important to have air at all times. And so if one were to go out, you can just flip it over to the other one and use that one. We recommend exercising it, every, 30, 40 hours.
Yes, sir. So you just toggle it back and forth there.
Right. Yeah, you got that switch. So you'll always have one.
And I'm noticing, is this part of the new generator? This is a different panel than what we've seen in the past?
Yeah, that's the Durawatt panel. You can come in and technicians can access data from there, find out everything from however many hours are on it to other information that they need to help if there's any kind of service issue. This side, we have the same system for bringing the slide tray out. So you can bring the slide tray out, again, either direction.
I remember Newell Coach went to the push button bay doors around 22, I believe.
Right.
How have your owners been responding to that?
Oh, they like it. And really, the style before that had the handles, that was still just an electronic switch. All we did was make the electronic switch a little button now.
Well, it's a little bit higher up, so a little bit easier to access here as well.
And it's cleaner. This bay goes all the way through. You got plenty of room if you want to add a refrigerator, freezer unit. Some people will put an outdoor kitchen in the coach. So you've got plenty of room on both of these slides to do all that.
I'm noticing a mesh face on this bay door. It still has that paint design going through. What's going on here?
This is a screen to pull in air for the cooling system for the generator. This is similar to what we had before, but you've got a big radiator here with a fan that is pulling air from the screen in the door and blowing it out on the ground. It's also pulling some air. You've got a fan that cools down the electrical bay that we saw a while ago. What I noticed also, it's even quieter. The generator's quieter and the fan is quieter than what we had previously.
Yes, so now I see that fan back there that goes towards the electronics bay. Is the cooling system for the electronics bay kind of tied in with this generator?
Yes, yeah, you've got the air coming through that area back out through here.
Yeah, definitely some new improvements. Newell Coach is always improving.
Here you have your 110 volt water pump, and then you have a 12 volt backup pump in this area. I'm going to point this out again because it's something to pay close attention to as an end user. Look at how much room you have to work inside this water bay. So many times you see a water bay that's just crammed together and you can't even get into it. But here you can access all the plumbing. You can actually see your tank level if you wanted to have a flashlight out here. We also have a thermostat for an electric heater that's in the water bay. So if you're going into colder climates, you can make sure your water bay is heated. The Aqua Hot on the other side will also provide some ambient heat in the water bay. You've got an accumulator tank back here that keeps pressure on the lines. And we do use PEX plumbing also instead of copper and brass piping, because in cold climates, you want to have something that can handle the frigid temperature. On our sewer hose, we've got the hose, and then you have the dump valves that actually allow the contents to come down the hose, but we also have a knife valve on the hose so that you can retain any residual fluids inside the hose. They're not going to come leaking out. And then we have a manifold system that you see here. On the back side of that, you actually have braided stainless steel lines, much more durable than, say, your polybutylene that you'll see on some products. Then over here, we have some more of the lighting controls, your dump valves. We have a dump safety so that you can't accidentally hit your dump valve for your wastewater. You have to hit both at the same time. Then over here, you've got your retracting switch for the water hose. It comes out manually and then is retracted with the switch. And here's that holding tank clean out that I'd mentioned before. We also have a gray water bypass valve. So for some of our clients that enjoy dry camping, but they have access to water and they just want to get rid of the gray water, you just hit this gray water bypass. You can attach a hose to where this comes out and have it just go out into a ditch or out in the desert or whatever, and it's just gray water. It's not going to be a problem.
So then at that point, you have essentially a 143-gallon black tank, so you can use the head quite a few times.
Oh yeah,
143 gallons.
Absolutely, yeah. It saves a lot of these like at the races and things. You've got wagons that can come around and dump for you, but if you don't have to do that, it's nice to be able to just bypass your bath water and your sink water and your washer dryer water. This is your other fuel door. You also have a camera on it as well, so when you're pulling in the fuel stop, you can see exactly where that fuel pump is. You've got your diesel here, the 200 gallons here, and then the 21 gallons of DEF.
Yeah, and all finished out in stainless. I'm always impressed with how well Newell Coach finishes out their fuel bay, and then it's got that lighting as well, so if you're filling up at night, really easy to see everything.
Yeah, that's another thing, and we'll mention this tonight when we go into the coach. The lighting that we've been able to incorporate both outside and inside, it's a real game changer. Sometimes you don't need spotlights, you just need some light.
Well, and when you drive through Motor Coach Country Club here, it's just so cool to see all the Newell coaches. They really stand out. You've got the belt rail lighting, the lighting around the windows, the lighting along the awning boxes, underglow lighting, engine bay lighting, that backlit Newell Coach badge up front. Just nobody's doing lighting the way Newell Coach is.
Right. Yeah, lighting is really important, and not just for looks, but for functionality.
Well, and when we go in the interior of the coach, we'll show that off as well. Just so much lighting. And Newell Coach is always improving. It's like I'm seeing lights that I don't recall in previous coaches. It's always getting better and better. We've talked a little bit about the Newell Coach ride and then the active steer tag axle. To my knowledge, Newell Coach is the only one in the industry doing the active steer tag axle and the continuous dampening control.
Yeah. There's we're the only ones that do it. So some of the claims of having a rear steerable tag, that's passive steering, where the tag is just kind of following what the coach is doing. You can't really back up with it. With ours, it is connected to our steering system. So when that steering wheel turns more than 5 degrees, this tag axle starts turning the opposite direction. So you're going to get a much tighter turning angle, especially backing in. It's a game changer. So it's like having a little man in the back steering.
Absolutely. And I've noticed too, when I'm at a stop in a Newell Coach and I turn the steering wheel, it just effortlessly moves all 4 tires, where some of the other product, I feel like you've got to be driving a little bit to make that steering easier. Is that kind of part of the
well, that's part of the power steering, obviously, and it's all connected. It's all connected, so but you can actually see the axle, the rear steering axle, and how it's tied in. Now, as far as the continuous damping control, that's another feature. You've got these units here that look like shock absorbers, but they're really not your traditional shock absorber. They're hydraulic dampers, and there's a sensor down here that is communicating with the rest of the coach. The bus conversions, Class A motorhomes, and what we used to do, and still do, we still have the ride height control valves. But that's what most systems are, ride height control valves that are controlling side-to-side correction. It's about a 2 to 3 second delay, and it's only side-to-side correction. Whereas with the continuous damping control, it's more like your BMWs and your Mercedes-Benz that are sensing road conditions constantly. 10 times per second per individual wheel is the delay.
Yes, sir.
If you want to call it that.
Yes, sir. And you mentioned, like Mercedes-Benz, and the Newell coach ride reminds me of a Mercedes-Benz. I believe you use ZF suspension, which is the same suspension that Mercedes-Benz uses.
Yes, ZF is a partner of ours, and they're the ones, as I understand it, that offered to incorporate that into this vehicle, because they were doing it on like your double-decker buses over in Europe and some of the real big trucks, and it made a huge difference. From a safety standpoint, it was very important. These coaches are heavy, and having that extra layer of safety and maneuverability, it was a game changer. It's really I would say one of the reasons that I accepted an offer to come to Newell. Once they started doing that, there wasn't a comparison.
You were the top salesman for one of the largest bus conversion company for 17 years before you came to Newell, so I'm sure that was a hard decision.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't quite said. It was 14, but
okay,
14
sorry.
years. But I was there for 17. I've mentioned this before in previous interviews. That was a tough decision in one way because of the longevity, but I could see where the market was going. I was losing customers to Newell, and didn't know exactly why. And then, as I investigated further, I started to learn a little more.
Yes, sir. And Newell's been using this technology for quite some time now.
Yep.
Is it problematic when these coaches get to be, 5, 10 plus years old?
Amazingly, a lot of times with technology, things change and technology changes, but this has been around a while. It's not an area that we've really seen any kind of problems with it. As long as everything's functioning like it should, not like that it gets old. It's not
very well built,
yeah,
industrial built for the long haul.
Right. And we get the benefit of all the R&D that the car companies are doing.
Yes,
we don't have a multi-billion-dollar R&D budget. So like the rest of the industry, we piggyback on what the automotive industry can do.
And I know the viewers have been asking in comments for a long time since I started filming with Newell Coach about that lithium battery system. And you guys were a little reluctant to get into it, but I feel like it's pretty proven technology by now.
It is. Things have changed, not just from the technology itself, but the availability of different systems. Whereas before you had one or two players in the game, and it was very expensive and it was cumbersome. With some technologies, you don't want to be the first. You don't want to be the pioneer. You want to see how it's going to play out, especially when it's something that fundamental to the operation of the coach. And so we really don't want our customers to be the guinea pigs. We did a lot of bench testing. We had a coach that we would try some of these lithium battery packs on for years. We kept testing until now we're comfortable with it. And again, you've got more competition out there, which competition is good in any field, including ours. We're very comfortable with the lithium packages now.
I like competition. It drives everybody to be better, and then the end user ends up winning, getting a better product.
We welcome the competition.
Now, this is something I really like about Newell Coach, and Newell's the only one that I know that has a separate smaller compartment just for the 50 amp cord, and it's towards the rear of the coach. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, it's more convenient. For one, the cord comes out. Most of the time, the post is going to be, back here where it is.
Right here, you can see it's about maybe 4 or 5 feet from the.
Right, so you don't have to carry it. But some of them do have it toward the middle of the lot, and that's fine. You've got plenty of length there. We also have a buddy plug receptacle here, so that if somebody needed to plug in while you're dry camping, they could actually piggyback off your power. That's a 50 amp supply. We've also got the shop air in. That allows us to pressurize the coach without having the engine running. So that if we are doing some work on the coach and we want to keep it aired up, we can do that. We've got the start-stop switch for the generator. A lot of times when you're unplugging, you don't want to have to go back in, turn the generator on while you're outside. You can turn it on, the air conditioners keep running, and then you can finish what you're doing outside. Now this is the on-board battery charger receptacle. So that if you want to charge the chassis battery from a 120 volt receptacle, you can do that. We've got a switch now that you can even have the house batteries receive a trickle charge from this. That's fairly new technology also, but you can't be running anything on the coach. It's just strictly to give a trickle charge to the batteries. And then this is the battery disconnect for the chassis batteries. You can turn them off, turn it back on. Whenever we ship a coach overseas, for example, it's going to be on a boat for a long time. We're going to want that turned off so that there's not these small draws on that chassis battery.
Below the 50 amp cord here, I see Custom Series number 89 by Ryan Laux. I remember like it was yesterday when Ryan started doing the designs for Newell Coach.
Yeah.
How is that partnership with Ryan Laux being the designer for Newell Coach worked out for you?
It's really worked out well. Ryan just got an imagination that, I don't understand people that have that ability, because I sure don't. You're going to be interviewing some customers today that was one of the biggest hurdles they had, but Ryan worked with them through the paint process, and they end up just absolutely loving the coach. We have a great partnership with Ryan.
Yeah, and Ryan's an absolute class act. I've heard the owners really enjoy working with him.
He doesn't just do coaches. He's, Adam, he painted a guitar to match Adam's coach.
I saw that, yeah, and he also does these by himself.
Right.
I know your production team, they got to keep painting these coaches, so he comes in and personally paints these vinyl.
He does. That's his product, and he handles all of that as far as any type of warranty or anything. That's his product, but it's a nice touch on a lot of different paint schemes.
Yes, sir.
Before I open up the engine compartment, we did make some changes here in the last few months. If you look at some of the older Newells, you'll have where this stainless would be recessed inside of a little area, and now we've made it to where it's much smoother, so that if people don't want stainless, they can bring their paint scheme down into this area. We went ahead and put the stainless on this. It gives it a nice accent.
Yes, sir, and I really like the way Newell brought the badge down, where before it was kind of taking up that real estate of where the paint is. And then also, this is kind of a different design handle for the engine bay.
We've got a different design handle. We still have the switch down here, just easy to pull up. You had asked me earlier to talk about some of the differences between Newell and our competition, and you'll see here how open it is to this engine compartment. There's plenty of room to get in and work. Obviously, the 605 horsepower Cummins versus a 500 horsepower Volvo. Cummins is made in the USA, like Newell is made in the USA.
But you do have some components that, the ZF suspension is from Germany, the valve and slides are from Canada, but it's all assembled right here in the
USA. It's all assembled in the USA, and we're the only one in our class that is 100% assembled in the USA.
Yes, sir, and you do have the leading towing capacity, this monster hitchback here, 25,000 pound towing capacity. And then I'm seeing some, it looks like some fittings for maybe air hoses or power washer hoses.
Yeah, this is, and I neglected to show you in the front. We also have a connection in the front for the power washer. You've got a long hose here that can go from front to back, but sometimes you don't need that. You just want a short hose to spray off the engine or a short hose to spray off the windshield, and we've got that in that front bay, as you saw. And then this is the air supply for some of the braking systems that you'll see on cars and trailers. We have that available as well. And then your tow package, tow light. We've got lights that shine down into the engine so you can get to it. In addition to having far more horsepower, this engine has got 1,950 pounds of torque versus the 1,750 that you'll find on the smaller engines. The serviceability is important, not just for the Newell product, but for the engine. I was reading on the website, doing a comparison between the service centers in North America for Cummins and the service centers available for other brands, and Cummins dominates the RV market. That's all there is to it. They even have coach care facilities where they will do some work on motorhomes. They may not get into the weeds on some of the motorhome systems, but they will offer some services.
Maybe aqua hot or generator service.
Just basic mechanical type things that they would help with.
See an air hose here as well.
Yeah, you've got this air hose that'll go from front to back. You can air up your tires. Over in this bay, we have a valve that when you turn on, it doubles the air pressure so that you can air up those tires. Here's the hose for the pressure washer. I'm referring to couple you're going to interview. That he sent me a video the other day where he had pressure washed his entire lot off the pressure washer from his coach. So you can wash your car, you can wash your coach, you can wash your lot. It's really been a neat feature.
Yes, sir. And I'm noticing behind you on this door, this is a much more reinforced look. What's going on here?
No, we've added more structural stability to the door. We didn't talk about it when we were over on the other side, but you've got the deionized water so that you can get a spot-free rinse on whatever you're washing. Then the switch for the pressure washer, and then you can turn that compartment light on.
And those filters that we saw in the generator cooling bay, that's for the DI?
Right.
And that's
right.
all plumbed through the coach where
Yes.
it's easy to use?
Yep. You just you turn it on here, and you're good to go.
Now, as impressive as the exterior of this coach is, I think you made some pretty big improvements on the interior as well?
Oh, we did. We'll be able to see quite a few enhancements on the inside.
I think we should put the slide rooms out and show the folks inside.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Sounds good. Well, Phil, the team at Newell was firing on all cylinders on this coach, and this interior is just over the top. I'm already seeing an accent door, a pocket door with a cool design inlay. But what's the story on the interior of this coach?
Well, we've made some other upgrades to the interior. You can see the slatted ceilings that we have put on a few coaches. We also have the recessed air conditioning access that cleans things up a little bit. We've got the smoother valances along the top of the slide and the window valances. You can see the indirect lighting in both areas, just giving it a little more cleaner look.
Yeah, and I'm noticing when you mentioned the slide room face and the valances, they almost have a similar pattern that kind of matches, gives it a nice uniform look. And this is almost like a thicker slide room face.
It is. It goes off at an angle, so you really makes it feel even bigger than what the Newell already feels like. It opens it up. We've also, on the front walls of the slide, you can see that those have got more of a squared finish. The lighting, again, you've got just a lot of different lighting accents that you can change the mood to whatever you want it to be.
And we had a chance to interview a few of the Newell coach owners here at Motor Coach Country Club and ask them a little bit about their Newell experience. And when I walked into a brand new Newell that the folks just custom built and you helped them with that, it smelled so clean in it and such a nice smell. And I asked, it had some sort of like an aromatherapy plumbed into the air conditioning system, and unlike anything we've ever seen in the RV industry.
Yeah, that was a request by the customer, and with us building it from the ground up, like I've said many times, we have so much more flexibility than what you'll see in some of the other products. We incorporated that Aroma 360 system into their coach. Could smell the same thing when I walk in. It's like all over, but it's evenly distributed throughout the whole coach. That's just one example of the things that we can do that are custom.
Yes, sir. I've seen that in some of the real high-end Mercedes more recently. But we also had to interview another gentleman that custom ordered a Newell coach through you. He took delivery almost 4 years ago. And I know he really pushed you, Adam Willis, on the AV in that coach. So that's something you guys are willing to listen to your owners and requests and implement some of these requests into the coaches?
Some of them we have to be careful, because if we get into an area where we're really not that familiar with what they're asking for, we'll either need to bring in some experts, or we'll have to give them what they want, but do it our way. And most of the time that works out. With Adam, it was a unique situation that we just don't see very often at all.
Well, he was very happy with his coach, and he's been using that coach a lot. So always great to hear, the testimonials and see those coaches from when they're new over time and how well they hold up. Just an incredible spec Newell coach. But it just shows the flexibility of Newell coach. And, on that note, your floor plans just never cease to amaze me. You've got so many different Newell coach floor plans that we see. What is this specific floor plan in this 26 show coach?
We take a look at what the customers are ordering, what the customers are requesting, and then we may come up with a floor plan this year that we haven't even built before. And we have some basic floor plan layouts you can look at, but every one of them is truly custom. And so when we're putting a show coach together, we want to try to showcase some things that maybe people haven't seen before. And this floor plan has some features in it that we've taken from some of our best floor plans in the past. And the fact that we build this coach from the ground up to be a motor coach gives us that flexibility that you just can't find in other platforms like a commercial bus shell or chassis that has to have a box built on it.
Well, we've mentioned it over and over, the most headroom, the most living space, tallest slide rooms,
biggest
ballast
windows,
slides. Yes, sir.
Flat floor slides. There's just a lot that we can do since we are controlling all aspects of the production.
And mentioning the floors in this coach, beautiful, almost like a concrete type look. That's a little bit of a matte, but a little bit of a gloss too.
Yes, yeah, it's not too shiny. Has a little bit of a texture to it. I really like this approach because the lights that are coming down are muted. And you don't feel like you have light shining back up at you.
And then, of course, the accent rugs and all of the decor that the Newell Coach design team is just over the top.
Yeah, the sofa, we're starting to see a resurgence of fabric sofas. They are, in a lot of ways, more comfortable than an all-leather sofa. I hope I'm going to say it right, or Amber will be talking to me, but it's Boussole is the name of the fabric. Very comfortable. I've sat on it a number of times, and it feels very comfortable. This particular coach, you can see that you've got the warmth, but it's not too dark. You've got a light floor, you've got light walls and ceilings, and then you have the cabinetry. The bulkheads are light. The cabinetry is a little darker color. It's just a perfectly balanced coach. The lighting, like you see here with these, looks like burlap in the background, so it's got some texture, but the indirect lighting is really just giving it that effect. You don't see the lights themselves, you just see the effect of the light.
Well, and that's one thing that Newell Coach is just really leading the industry in, is not only interior lighting, but exterior lighting. It just got dark here at Motor Coach Country Club, and we had a chance to drive around the park, and you could just really see the Newell coaches standing out with that belt rail lighting, the awning lighting, the underglow RGB lighting, the engine bays lit up, the front lit Newell badge over the top with the lighting. Is that something Newell's always done?
Well, we've been doing it quite a bit over the last several years, but the technology that has come along just in recent years, you can have lower voltage, but yet have this kind of effect. And we're all for saving power. If we can, but when you can go ahead and get this type of lighting, it's nice. It just sets us apart from the others that you see out there.
Absolutely, and I'm seeing all kinds of little improvements now. I don't believe I've seen this style of ottoman yet. Is this a newer style ottoman?
This is a newer style. It gives you the flexibility to have possibly a little workstation, or if you want a place to rest your feet with a cushion, or a place for somebody to sit. Both of these will turn either direction. Then you still have the storage inside the ottoman and with handles on each end so you can move it easily when you're ready to stow it for travel.
Yes, sir. And even the handles here match that Newell Coach decor, just, over the top. All of those subtle little details really separate Newell Coach.
Yeah, no, they keep coming up with stuff. I'm amazed at how they come up with something new just about every coach.
You and I both, yes, sir. But what else is new here for the 26 model?
Well, for the 26 models, we've got some new things in the cockpit area, and I can go over those with you. Here we have the chairs turned around. Another thing that you notice immediately is that we have a flat floor. We don't have the passenger sitting up behind the driver up at a higher level. Both chairs are on a flat floor. Both chairs can be turned around and be part of the living room if you have guests over, so you can entertain more people.
And is the driver's seat an air ride seat?
It is. It's actually a driver's seat, air ride, lumbar support. You can see here that it cradles the kidneys, so if you're on a long trip, you're going to feel that support.
Talking about long trips, we were just interviewing Adam Willis. He said he put down 1,600 miles in 24 hours in his Newell Coach. He just loved driving it so much. He just kept trekking along.
Oh, he's a beast.
Well, and he said in his previous motorhome, after about 6 hours, he was done for the day. But something about the smoothness of the Newell Coach chassis that just gives it such a nice ride that doesn't beat you up as much as some of the other motorhomes out there. What is it about, the Newell Coach that allows that smoothness?
Well, it's not just the air ride seat. There is no one in the industry that has the continuous damping control that we have. And quite frankly, that's one of the reasons that I'm at Newell, because as you know, I used to sell the Prevost bus conversions, and I always tried to rely on the ride and handling. And whenever I went to Newell, during the interview process, and they let me test drive the prototype with that CDC in it, and I had to keep my poker face on because that was the last bullet I had in my gun, and they just took it away at that point. And I realized that they already had a good ride, but this just put them over the top.
Well, and you were Salesman of the Year for 17 years for one of the bus conversion companies, the largest bus conversion company. So
yeah,
definitely says a lot.
That's what I had to compare to. So yeah, it made a big difference.
And on that note, what are some of the other reasons that you made the change to Newell Coach?
As you know, a lot of companies were coming out of the recession during that time, or the recession had ended. But in the bus conversion business, it was not pretty because the converters have to buy a shell from the shell manufacturer, and they're not getting that at cost. They're getting it at whatever price the shell manufacturer is charging. So that's just passed on to the consumer. And with Newell, they build their chassis from the ground up. It's a heavier duty chassis. It's got more features than the bus chassis. They had more control over the cost. As I've mentioned before, I was losing quite a bit of business to Newell over the years of the recession. And part of that reason was Newell was putting more things on at a lower price. They don't have that middleman to contend with. They don't have to modify an existing shell to try to take slides. They don't send their coach off to a slide manufacturer for them to provide more structural integrity so that it can handle the slides. We build it from the ground up to handle the slides. We buy the same slides from Valid Manufacturing out of Canada. We install it. Carl Blade, the owner at that time, asking me how long it took to put 4 slides in a Prevost. And I said, well, I think it's about 2 months at Valid. And he said, it takes us 8 hours per slide.
Wow.
To install it.
Wow.
So there's just some things. It doesn't mean it's worse. It just means you're paying a whole lot more for that conversion process. And in addition to that, Newell has far more flexibility on how big the slides are, where they're located. We've got flat floor slides at every location instead of just one. We've got flat floor all the way back to the rear of the coach. We don't have the exhaust and the DPF filter coming up through the rear end of the coach. We put all of that underneath because we have the ability to do that because we're building it ourselves. And that just creates so much more floor space, so much more flexibility in the floor plan. Customers have more choices that they just can't get anywhere else. It is built from the ground up by American workers. From a service standpoint, you call Newell. You're not having to be told you have to call the chassis manufacturer, or the chassis manufacturer telling you have to call the converter. It's a one-stop shop, and that's an attractive feature for a lot of people that have been down that road where they've been told they have to go to different vendors for service.
Yes, sir, and I know reliability is very important for motor coach owners as well. And we were out at the Daytona 500 last week, and just like when we're here at MCCs, a huge percentage of the coaches here are Newell coaches, but also in the driver lot at the NASCAR race, there was a lot of Newell coaches in there. And I was thinking about, those guys, they got to go from race to race. They're putting, 20, 30, 40,000 miles a year on those coaches. So definitely a testament to the Newell coach service when you see that many Newell coaches in the driver owner lot there at the racetracks.
Well, in addition to that, we have relationships with servicing dealers all over the country, and we make our coach to where it's serviceable. We're not trying to make everything a top secret. We want the coach to be serviced easily, and we've got guys that have been there for over 30 years that are helping these independent service centers help our customers. And if they're under warranty, we just give them the credit card number and say, take care of it, and here's how you do it. That's been a good business model for Newell, being able to have these servicing dealers around the country.
Being, open and transparent, and we've had a chance to tour your factory several times, and just really incredible to see that whole build process.
Right.
If any of you haven't seen that video already with the engineers from Newell, definitely worth checking out. We'll leave that in the description below. But coming back to this 26 here, what else is new?
We've got some changes that we've made to the dash area, and I'll turn the ignition on here in a little bit and you'll be able to see more, but you'll notice the size of the CCI screen.
Yeah, let's turn that on here. And I'm going to sit down in this passenger chair here. Now this is heated, cooled, and massaging seat as well, I believe.
It is, yes, it sure is.
And then it'll just easily spin, back in as long as that lever's up, just to show everyone, how quickly we could spin that back around. It's very, very easy to operate. But what all else is new here in the cockpit area?
Well, you might want to show just a brief picture in the video of the older dash. I say older.
From a 25.
From a 25, where you had a smaller CCI screen and the iPad was here. That iPad has the app where you can access the house controls, your lighting, some of the features that you're seeing here. And what we did is we took the iPad out and put some of the main things that you would want to see from that coach management page on your app, and we've put them here. We've also got the power system so you can see what your batteries are doing while you're driving. You don't have to pull up that iPad and try to find it. It's all right there.
Yeah, it's super clear too. Huge buttons, very easy to read. I'm, in the passenger chair here, a few feet away, but it's just crystal clear. I can read every letter on the screen, without problem at all.
Well, and that was the thing. You don't need to see every single thing that's on that coach management system. But there are some things that, if you want to cool down the coach while you're driving and not have to access the iPad, it's easy to do now. You can turn different lights on the inside on and off from here. Much easier. And then it has all the other functions that we've seen in the past.
We're not running the coach right now, so it's not the mirrors, but that's another thing, is how easy it is to adjust your mirrors. When I've driven these late model Newell coaches, it's just super user friendly.
So what we did here, in addition to having the enlarged CCI screen, we went ahead and put a charger.
Oh, cool. Wireless, a magnetic charger there?
Yeah, magnetic charger there. And then you've also got a magnetic charger over here.
So two wireless charging ports for your driver.
The passenger could put theirs there. The driver can put his here. Those are some of the things that we've changed up in the cockpit area, made it a little more user friendly for the driver.
Is that a suede steering wheel?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Suede steering wheel. You still have the cameras. We've also added
a roofed camera.
Yes, there you go.
So it's a little dark out there right now.
Yeah, but you can see that's the roof looking behind you, and then you can go back and go to the roof 4, and that's looking ahead. So what that does is allow you, if you've got some low-hanging limbs, you're going to be able to see them before they hit the coach. And we do have the 360 view. You've got an interior view, left side fuel, right side fuel. That allows you to see the fuel pump when you're pulling up to get fuel. As I've mentioned before, as I've gotten older with bifocals, it's a little more difficult to see. This'll help you.
Hey, even at my age, driving a Newell coach, having that camera to help me align with the fuel bay makes life much easier.
Especially because you got depth back there too, so you can position it to where it'll be easy to access. The other thing that we've added this year is the Apple CarPlay. You're going to be able to use that over here, and then we have the GPS enabled iPad on that side, so the passenger can also use a GPS that would be in an app in the iPad.
And then I'm noticing the 3 cameras. I think Adam Willis's 22 Newell might have been one of the first with the 3 screens.
I think it actually was. To Adam's credit, I think it might have been his idea. He had so many ideas that were good ideas that we incorporated. We've got both side views here, and then we've got the rear view right now. But what you can do, I'm going to show you here. Let's say I'm going to be pulling into a place and I want to keep an eye on some boulders that are on that side. So there's a little ghosted square here. When I push that view goes up here, and now I can go back to this camera and just have my rear view. So you've got the flexibility there to choose your view and still go back and use the camera.
Yes, sir, and you're not using like a split screen or anything. You've got this huge screen with whatever camera you prefer, 3 more large screens up there, so very good viewing around the coach.
Right. Now, when you're driving, you're going to be able to get your camera feed through here for your left and right turn signal. And then if we were to put it in reverse.
Would the reverse camera come up on your dash as well?
Reverse camera would come up in the center there.
Yeah, very ergonomic, so you can really focus without even having to toggle your eyes.
This is the leveling screen. Right now I've got it on auto. I just set it to auto and it's automatically leveling because we have the level system activated, have the slides out. But if I were to go into travel mode, I would have some options to choose from. If I'm pulling into a place and I think I might need to lower the coach, I can go to low ride, leave it at normal ride height, or if I feel like I need to raise it, I can raise the whole coach by hitting high ride. But this smart ride is kind of cool because at 50 miles an hour, it's going to lower it 1 inch, and that's going to lower your center of gravity and give you better performance. But it does it automatically if you have it on smart ride. Then we have shade controls. You have the column memory, climate control for the passenger over here. They have that flexibility.
Yeah, and your passenger can also control music, the volume, climate control here, and the brightness of the screen. So a nice little touch panel here.
You've got your mirror controls, and a lot of these controls are not just touch screen. You have the wheel over here to the side that allow you to operate it this way. A lot of the cars will have this feature on it. It's also for the dash as well. Another question that I get often is the heating for the front area. So many people that have other products complain about the fact they don't get a lot of heat because all they're using is the automotive heat, which we have here. But if you're in real frigid conditions, that's generally not enough. And so we have the convectors for the aqua hot on both sides and allow that heat to come back and heat this area even more. That's part of the house heating with the aqua hot.
And now, do the heated floors come up here into the
No, the heated floors stop here because you're really not supposed to put something long-term on top of the heated floor. And this mat stays here all the time.
Okay.
I tell you what, these heated floors, I've been able to, in pretty cold weather, have nothing but the heated floors on, and it's been plenty.
Yeah, so what else is going on up front here?
Well, a couple of things. We've gone to Starlink like so many other people have. So we've got the Starlink. We don't even use satellite. I don't think anybody's using satellite anymore. You've got the ability to stream, use the computer going down the road. It's just a system that's hard to beat now. We've talked about this before, but Newell has the N1 system. Instead of physical fuses down in a bay that you have to go down and replace every once in a while, we've got the N1 system that will tell you if there's a problem, where it is. All you have to do is reset it. Right now, everything's clear. Then you also have the new display for the leveling system, and then we have the valid slide controls, so that this will allow you to put out the slides here. You can also do this on the iPad, so you can be outside operating your slides, and you can operate either remotely from a remote location, or you can be on the local network and operate it. Tell you what, it's so hard to find universal remotes that will work your AV system and some of your other controls, but we have found one that it's just awesome. These AVR controls will mirror the Intrepid coach management system. So just very intuitive, very easy to, light, shades, AV system, very responsive, no delay. Technology is always changing. We're always going to seek to find the very best to use with our product, and these were a game changer for me. So easy to use. In some of our other coaches, we've had the projection screen. On this one, we wanted to go ahead and feature the OLED.
Yeah, that televator is super smooth, very quiet, and just shows how large that window is as well. Now, how big of a TV is this?
I think it's 65 inches.
I'd believe it. It's definitely a very large TV.
It covers up the whole window. But you've also got the TV up here. If during the day you're wanting to just watch the news or something, this is great, and that way your window's still open for the view. And then at night you can sit back and watch the TV here. The sofa is a Villa sofa. It's got the footrest on it. Also has the air mattress for sleeping in it. So you've got both features.
We've mentioned in the past that Newell Coach provides the bedding and the sheets for every bed in the coach. So even for like a pull-out sofa bed, you're going to have brand new fresh sheets that fit that perfectly.
Absolutely.
And are those built and are those made by Newell Coach?
Well, the sheets themselves are made by another company, but for this one it would probably just be queen size sheets. But in the bedroom, we have a special size because of the way we want to taper the corners so that you get more walk space. So our seamstress will custom make the sheets instead of getting something that's either too tight or too loose. They're going to fit perfectly. Now over here, this is got a lot of drawer space, deep drawers. Some people will use this for printers or filing, make a file drawer out of it. It's also got a little platform that is spring-loaded that will come out. You could turn this chair around if you wanted. Right now, I've got the movable driver's console that will fit between the driver and passenger whenever you're traveling, but you can stow it wherever you want whenever you're stationary.
Super convenient, very ergonomic. The way that this chair, fits, everything is very comfortable, and they've improved. I know different, motor coaches have tried to do this office setup up front, but to have this style of a recliner,
sure,
and then to be able to sit in it super comfortably, get your work done. This is just a very comfortable workstation.
Yeah, I went into a customer's coach the other day, and she had everything perfectly organized, and that was perfect for putting her little laptop.
Well, and then when you put the TV down, you've got a little bit of countertop space here as well.
A lot of people are doing work at the dinette table. You don't need large computers anymore. We're doing stuff on the phone and on iPads.
This is a very comfortable chair. I mean, if you just want to walk through this coach, I can just kind of tilt it back here. And
we'll come wake you up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A lot of countertop space. Now, I don't know if you'd want to set a drink on there with the TV being under there, but still you could put paperwork or
sure. You just got to be aware of it if you're going to be moving it up and down. The other thing I like to point out, again, the ability to put this recliner where you've got it on coaches that don't have flat floor slides, that's not possible.
Yes, sir.
And so, again, just the flexibility we have because of the way that we're able to build our chassis.
Now, this is one of your more popular floor plans, having the booth on this side and no cabinets overhead. So we've got that huge view, and it's dark right now, but what a great view out of the windows here at Motor Coach Country Club.
Most people prefer the dinette where you have the two opposing seats. There's a lot of flexibility there too. What you see here has got a lot of room, but we were also able to extend the dinette. We have the seat cushions and the backs that insert over toward the wall, but you can see how much more space we can give you. So if you got kids, you can put 3 kids on each side. Not that you'd want 6 kids in the coach at the same time.
Yes, sir. Well,
but you could if you want.
Coaches with 2 full baths for that. But is there storage below the dinette?
Yeah, there's a drawer storage on each side, and then we've got a pedestal and a leaf for the table so that you can pull that table out and have it extended as well.
Yes, sir. And of course, really cool decor that your design team uses. Does the decor come with the coach?
All the decor comes with the coach. And if somebody custom builds a coach, Amber and Sydney will work with them to come up with some appointments that they'll like, and always do a real good job matching it up. Over here you have our galley. Again, flat floor, so there's not a step up that takes away from some of the space down here. We've got a place for your trash receptacle and cleaning supplies, deep storage down below. Notice there we have an actual incinerator. If you want to put some vegetables down through the sink, you can, and it'll go straight to the wastewater tank. Fisher Peckel dishwasher. Another drawer below that. I'll show you what's in the drawer above in a minute. Then more drawer space over here. If you look how deep and tall those drawers are for storage. And then we have a pegboard that we can put in there to hold the dishes, but we let the customer tell us what they want before we tackle that. And then over here you have a very deep pantry with adjustable shelves. We also offer pull-out shelves there, or pull-out drawers. Some people will put things like their air fryer or their crock pot inside of a drawer, and they can just pull it out. As you saw in the interview today, they had a toaster and
a coffee maker as well.
Yeah, an espresso machine.
And he was mentioning that they didn't clutter in the coach at all.
Right.
So just really nice to have everything tucked away, and then you can open a cabinet, pull out that espresso machine, and definitely a really cool feature.
Well, when you have 4 or 5 more feet of usable space, like you do in the Newell, you've got a lot of room to work with. Here we have a porcelain countertop, and it's got the leathered feel to it. We've showed this before, the InvisiCook cooktop. It's actually not a cooktop, I guess it's a cook under, that we're seeing more and more people choose. And because they do cook occasionally, but they don't want the stovetop there all the time. So you would use induction cookware, and underneath the countertop you have the induction units. that are there. I don't have the silicone pads now, but they come with some silicone pads that you can place here. Your controls are in this drawer. If you're concerned about not being perfectly aligned, these will tell you if you're off a little bit and which way you need to move it, front, back, side, or side to side. Yep.
Yeah, that frees up a lot of space.
Oh,
and
a lot
gives
of
it a
space.
much cleaner look. But you know, when we were interviewing some of your customers earlier today, they were just saying how easy that is to use.
Yeah, yeah.
They really like it.
Well, and sometimes when you're cooking, I know that I don't use a cooktop all the time. I may use an air fryer or, like I said, a Instapot or something to cook a meal. Now you've got a place to put all that, and you have the exhaust that you can use on the microwave to vent any of the odors out. And we have the Brew Express coffee maker over here that's pre-plumbed. You're not having to add water. It's already there. And there's also an adapter for this, so that if you want to use the K-cups from the Keurig, you can do that.
And then I'm noticing the two-tone cabinets really break it up, give it a nice look. And then we have more storage overhead, or?
Yeah, you've got more storage over here. And again, with taller ceilings and taller slide rooms, you're going to have more storage space up above the countertop. Notice how it's lined on the inside and out. We're not using a melamine finish on the inside. It's lined with the same material. This material's really nice. It's got a texture. You can feel the wood grain. It's really a high pressure laminate, but it feels like wood. We kind of keep our ear to the ground on what other manufacturers are using. We have not elected to go to some of the lightweight material. You've been through our plant and you see how our cabinetry is made with real wood. Newell has a 63,300 pound gross vehicle weight rating, whereas our closest competitor, the bus conversions, have a 55,500 pound gross vehicle weight rating. We're able to make our coaches heavier. We're able to use, solid material, rather than using very lightweight material that doesn't have that solid feel. And this is the Intrepid screen for the coach management system. Has the features that we talked about earlier. Up here you've got another part of the N1 system is we eliminated a few years ago all the tactical switches and went to a touch screen that allows you to drill down into different menus from one, and you'll see throughout the coach just one pad rather than several switch groups.
Yeah, definitely cleaned it up, not having all the red and blue light switches
absolutely
on the walls.
Yeah.
And we touched on these accent walls earlier. Just
right.
So cool, the different kind of art walls that Newell Coach has been doing with that indirect lighting. And I think you said it looked like a burlap sack.
Hey, that's what it feels like, a little bit of a burlap. It's got a canvas, if you will. We've done custom commission artwork that's gone in those areas. We've done like the Samsung frame where you can install whatever pictures you want on there. A lot of different options to choose from. Over here we have the refrigerator. You can see the size of these hinges are extremely durable. You'll notice up here we've got the magnetic lock. So when you turn the ignition on and you're heading out, these are going to lock. So you don't have to worry about things falling out, and you've got an override switch, so if while you're traveling you need to open it, you can still override that. You got the ice maker drawer with some more freezer space, and then freezer space down below. We've got more drawers here, and you've got the flexibility. If you ordered one and you wanted to have a slide out pantry here, you could do that. And then up here we have the pull out shelves in a pantry.
Now I'm seeing that accent door behind you, but we also have a pocket door into the half bathroom as well.
Yes, yeah.
What a cool style on the door going into the bedroom there.
Right.
And I just want to point out that it's not just a pattern. You have this piece coming off. It almost looks like it's a door handle. If you didn't know any better, you'd be trying to open it up. That's something totally new. Have you guys been doing a lot of stuff like that?
We've been doing some different things. Mirrors are fine, but you don't need a mirror on both sides. And this is something that just breaks it up, gives it a little more character.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Here we have the
powder room door there.
Powder room door.
Yeah, it's such a cool style in here.
You've got the same wall covering that you have for the recesses that we saw in the galley. We've got that same countertop in here with the backsplash that matches. Actually an underlit sink. We've got all the lights on so you can't see it.
Yeah, really cool when the lights come off with that underlit sink. And I'm noticing this countertop, it also matches the backsplash behind the toilet.
Right.
But it's got more of a gold.
You've got all this storage inside the half bath. We'll see how large the rear bath is, but to have a coach that has this large of a half bath and then the huge rear bath, it's just not possible on other platforms.
Yes, sir. And then a mirror with storage above the toilet as well.
You know, storage back here. You got these medicine cabinet storage. So we make use of every inch of storage space. You can't see it, but we have the vacuum down below.
That's a pretty strong central vac too.
Yeah,
That sounds like it's some serious wind there.
Oh yeah, yeah. And we've got a hose connection that'll go in there as well if you need to get in some tight places. It's a beautiful bedroom here. We've got a little wider bed than we normally put in the coach. You make some sacrifices, 3 inches on each side when you do that. We went ahead and featured that on this coach. You've got your iPad controls over there. But then you also have the Intrepid panel on this side, so the people on both sides of the bed have control over the house.
Yes, sir. And then I'm noticing some cabinets overhead here.
Right.
Does this have the projector in it?
It does. It has the projection screen. You can open that up and you'll see the projector.
And is this the projector that goes to the exterior of the coach as well?
When you have the painted screens, obviously you can't see through the window, so the image isn't going to be able to go through the window. And most people utilize that feature when they get the projector in the front, because then it's going to go out into their entertainment area. Most of the time, the rear window is not going to go into the entertainment area.
Unless they're like our friends Brent and Harriet that we met earlier that had both outdoor projectors and the outdoor TV. They said they had quite a party over there the other night.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the way their coach backs in to their casita, and they have such a large entertainment area, you can be standing anywhere on that lot. You can see the TV. So that's definitely an exception to the rule. Yeah.
Well, just more of the flexibility that Newell Coach does.
Absolutely.
And I haven't seen anybody else in the RV industry doing that. And we debuted that at Newell Coach like 4 years ago, I believe.
Right.
And no one's been able to keep up.
No one has the size windows that we have, really, as far as the visibility there.
Well, another really cool feature that Newell Coach does. Now, is this closet space on both sides of the window here?
Yeah, you've got closet space on both sides.
And I see a downlit hanging bar and then a subwoofer. Is that part of the stereo system?
It is. This has a surround sound in the bedroom, so you're going to have plenty of sound.
A lot of bass, too.
A lot of bass if you want it, that's for sure.
Oh, now we still have a lot of drawer space here with that projector. It really frees up a lot of space.
It does. We made the configuration this way for the show coach, but we've had people put cabinets in that have a door. We've had people put in drawers that were smaller so that you have 3 across and 3 deep. We've had some put in deep drawers. So again, there's more flexibility there because the fact we have a flat floor, you don't have a part of the chassis that comes up and interferes with that area like you do on the other platforms.
And having these flat floors with this drop floor for the slide room, is this still able to be heated?
Yes. Every place that it's solid, it's heated all the way up to the cockpit area.
Yeah, very cool. And I can only imagine the technology when you have a moving piece like that. I'm sure there's a lot of work that goes into making that work properly.
It has to be precise, but Valid Manufacturing has been one of our best vendors. They support us. They support our clients. Our clients can call Valid to get help just like we would. I've done it myself. It was unfortunately operator error on my part, but they'll walk you through anything.
And how long has Newell Coach been working with Valid?
I believe 2003 models or 2004.
Wow.
Yeah, 2000.
Over 20 years.
Yeah, over 20 years. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And then I'm noticing, these are very high-end speakers that you use.
Yeah.
And then is this a suede on the headliner here?
Yeah, so it's kind of a suede finish there, and it's got the indirect lighting. You could turn all of the puck lights off and just have indirect lighting, and it'd be
so many cool different lighting features. And as you mentioned before, the owner can, have Newell Coach set different lighting modes. And does this have like the Alexa feature where you could talk to it?
It's got a built-in, if you choose that option, you can activate it. It's going to be built in. We teach the customer how to do it themselves. So if they want to play with it a little bit, they can have their own presets for whatever mood they want.
And then of course, Newell Coach owners can always call the Newell Coach service department. I hear Newell owners rave about that over and over. And
we encourage people. There's some people that are shy about calling that number, but we want people to call that number when they have an issue, especially if it's an emergency. But it's 24/7. You'll be talking to an actual Newell technician, not some third party that's trying to help you through it. You'll be talking to a Newell technician.
So Newell owners don't need to worry about wearing out their welcome.
No. That's service is a huge part of our business, and really the feedback that I have received from people that are moving up. Sure, the quality of the Newell is higher than anything else out there. When they start comparing the experiences they've had with other products, service comes up as a major factor in their buying decision.
And when we were going around the resort today, we saw the Newell service van out here, servicing coaches, a lot of Newell owners here at MCC, but also last week we were out at Daytona. We saw the Newell coach service van out there. So we're running into these Newell service techs everywhere we go, it seems like.
Well, again, that's part of our commitment to service. Whenever there's going to be Newell owners, a lot of Newell owners in a specific location, and we have the ability to do it, we're going to have a service presence there to help them. Again, that 1-800 number, if we weren't there, we've got independent service centers in every state. We've got mobile service companies that we have a lot of confidence in that we'll use. So we're committed to service.
Even in the bedroom here, another really cool accent rug. So many cool little touches. But I know Newell always goes over the top in the bathrooms back here.
We've got plenty of space to work with.
It's another cool door here. And then just what another, just different variation. It seems like there's just so many different, layouts of these coaches. Something new every time, it feels like.
Yeah, a lot of times the shower is on this side of the coach, but what we've done in this particular floor plan, if you've seen some of our other coaches, the step up is actually going from the bedroom to the bathroom. That step up is there because that's where the engine.
Yes, or that X15.
Right. So by moving the wall several inches this way, we're able to increase the space back here, put the washer dryer back here instead of in the middle of the coach, and then move that step up back here. So there is no step up until you get back to where the toilet is and washer dryer and your closet, access to your closets and your drawers here.
I see a heated towel bar back here. Just beautiful finishes. I mean, that tile work on the wall of the shower. And then it's got a shower head in the ceiling there, just over the top. And this seems like a newer style for 26, the way the shower design is.
Yes, and you still have the vent fan, but it's underneath, or it's up above this ceiling piece here. There's still plenty of headroom here. We've got customers, one of the main reasons they have a Newell is they don't hit their head walking through the coach, especially getting into the shower. And in this shower, I mean, I'm not as tall as you, but I've got plenty of elbow room, plenty of headroom. You got the jets here, and then you'll have the other shower head and wand installed at delivery.
Yeah, sir. I've got to point out the indirect lighting here. You've got puck lighting in your shower, but then more indirect lighting inside of the shower cubby for your body wash, and then a different style of tile that we haven't seen in the coach yet, but really cool contrast that kind of matches the colors of the countertops and cabinets, but just a totally different design.
It's got a wood grain look to it.
Yes, sir. Coming back here, even with the step up to the rear of the coach, I'm 6'2". I still have plenty of headroom back here. And what's all going on here in the back of the coach?
Well, you've already mentioned the heated towel bar. But we also have the washer and dryer unit, and then these doors will slide back. You've got storage down below the washer and dryer for your laundry detergent. Notice how deep these drawers are also.
Yeah, I like having that mirrored face as well, so they almost act like a full-length mirror. Like from right here, I can see my feet, I can see, my full outfit.
Right.
So even though it doesn't go all the way down to the floor, because of the angle, you're still able to, it acts as a full-length mirror.
Right, yeah.
And then again, just more indirect lighting glowing off the tile floor. And we're seeing quite a few bidet toilets as well.
Yeah, they've got, they're lighted. You can set it to where it'll automatically pop up for you when you walk in. Heated. You've got the cedar lined closet here, a cedar lined closet here with a door that will retract. And then you've got cedar lined closet that goes all the way back. It's a little longer than the short hang, so you could put some dresses in there possibly.
Well, and the downlit hanging bar, I didn't even see, but the bar is kind of a little bit higher there to get more height as well.
In this vanity area, we moved it over to this side. You could have two separate vanities in here if you wanted, but because the mid bathroom is so large, usually that's where somebody's going to go, and usually the lady is going to get the larger one. Plenty of room for makeup, all these drawers, plenty of storage down below.
That's a cool backsplash, the way it continues from behind the sink to behind the toilet and the heated towel bar.
Right.
Just every detail, and again, more indirect lighting here above, below these cabinets.
More
over the
more
top.
storage for toilet tissue or chemical.
Yes, sir. Well, Phil, I really appreciate you showing us around this stunning 26 show coach. Now, I know this coach is, for sale through the Newell coach manufacturer back in Oklahoma, but how long are you going to have it on display here at Motor Coach Country Club?
We plan to have it on display until the third week in March. So we've got some events that we're going to be sponsoring both here and at another resort that allow us to showcase the coach. They can purchase it through our manufacturing facilities in Miami, Oklahoma. In fact, I'm going to be headed back there with the coach. If they have an interest in this coach or a pre-owned coach or custom ordering a coach, they can contact me directly at philc@newellcoach.com, or they can call or text me at 541-953-3113.
And how much money does someone need to become the next owner of this coach?
This coach lists just under $2.7 million.
Nice. Well, Phil, can't thank you enough for taking the time. Really appreciate the opportunity.
You bet. As always.
Always an honor. And also appreciate all of you out there subscribing to the channel and liking these videos. We appreciate you all and hope you're having a great day.
Have a great day.